Hello, guys. If you don't know, I have made my own country. Yes, with the very creative name of Ezra Land. Today, I'm going to give a brief analysis of this country that I have made. Also, just a disclaimer, this is not real yet, because I do want to make it in the future, but I would need probably a few $1 billion. So, it's possible, but not likely. But first of all, let me go into how I got the idea to make this country in the first place. When I was about like 6 years old, I wanted to be a king, which sounds dumb. Okay, yeah, but I was upset because almost all the countries in the world are democracies. So how could I be a king? Yes, I know it still sounds dumb, but this is what happened. That led me to create my own entire country that I've been developing for years and years, and I still work on it. Funnily enough, but um, it's not done yet. Like I am still editing stuff, not perfect. But first, I thought I would talk about my design for the island itself of Ezra Land. So, yeah, let's get into that. So, the island, my idea was to buy an existing island and then eventually build around it artificially to create a bigger island, since there are no islands for sale that are that big. So that's a good idea. But in the very small island in the middle could be like the capital city because um, it's got to be pretty big and like it could fit on the whole island. And also that's the most important part. So that would make sense to build that part first. Now here's what I was gonna say. So it's a group of mainland islands. I forgot to say I have little a few other little islands, and it's in the middle of the ocean. I don't know which ocean yet, probably Atlantic. And it's divided into four sections: Bermache, Placna, Quene, and Sano. I'll just talk about those real quickly. Bermache is the northern division, has a very diverse landscape, and has some of everything. It's really good. And then Placna is the seaside land, basically in the east, and it's known for beaches and seafood and by the ocean a lot. Well, they're all by the ocean, but the ocean life is really in Placna. It has lots of small islands and stuff, yeah. And then Quena is the southern division, and they have lots of deserts and mountains, which is just a nice thing, I guess. Tsano is in the west, and it's kind of empty, but it's more for agriculture and farming, which I like. And then also in the middle, we got Soke, the capital city, which is the center of everything, pretty much. And that's what I was going to say that I would build first and then try to expand later on if possible, even if it's after I die, I don't know. Like my descendants could keep expanding on Ezra Land. Now, the four divisions are divided by a canal that's shaped kind of like an X. So that's like the main dividing line. And they're all special for their own reasons, like I said. And I also will introduce many animals to them, maybe. And the national bird of Ezra Land and national animal is the emerald toucanet, which is basically like a green toucan thing. Which, yeah, basically. And then there are lots of cultural things that I will not talk about right now because that's a whole nother topic. But basically their own traditional clothing. Yeah. Now we're getting into the interesting stuff, which is religion. So Ezra Land is very strictly Christian. Other religions are tolerated, but they're not affirmed. That's a good way to put it. So all the laws are based off of the Bible and rules in Christianity and Christian traditions. So other religions and non-traditional Christians might not find it the best place. But yeah, even though it's pretty, you have freedom of religion in a basic sense. Now, I did invent my own language for Ezra Land, which is called Izrak. I could have a whole series of videos about Izrak. I've developed it so much, I have thousands of words probably. But, fun fact, my name of my channel, Namis, is an Izrak word meaning king, which basically is a play on the fact that I want to be the king of Ezra Land. But that is kind of dumb, but I thought that was a fun name for my channel because also I'm the king of YouTube. Just kidding, but okay. Now, moving on from stuff about Izrak and all that, we have, of course, there are lots of Ezran symbols that are interesting, such as the seal of Ezra Land, which I can show you right here. It's on this Ezra Land money, which I will get to in a minute. At the bottom in silver there, that is the seal of Ezra Land, or of, that's my seal. And it's the most common symbol, and it's the official, like, sign or mark on official documents and stuff. And then the flag is green, blue, and gold, and I'll show a picture of it real quick here on the screen. Yeah, that pretty much all explains itself. It has the seal in the middle. Then here is the government system, which is where it gets really interesting that I have devised. It's not perfect. This is the main part I'm going to change stuff probably, because it's not perfect. It's very messy right now, but I will perfect it eventually if I were to make Ezra Land. So, of course, it's a monarchy, so it's ruled by the Namis. He has almost absolute power, although there are some checks and balances, but pretty much absolute, like, pretty much. Okay, then there are also people called lords, but they're basically, well, they're known as Belkrigs in Israel, but they're basically the rulers of there's 4 of them, and they're appointed by the king, and they each rule one of the divisions that I was talking about earlier, because there's only 4 of them, and they answer only to the king, but they are basically mini kings within their divisions other than that. Now, there are also people that I call knights, but they're not necessarily knights, but they're people who are chosen to lead smaller pieces of land, like cities and towns. It's more of an honorary title too, so it's not as much, but it's like you need to be a knight before you can become like a lord or something too. That's another rule. But the king can make pretty much anyone a knight, but it has to be based off of like a reason, I guess, because that person needs to have displayed some sort of like they need to be a noble, honorable person, and have done something deserving of being a knight. Now, the knight might not be the best word for it, but that's what I have for now. Now, the judges, which are not really judges necessarily also, because keep in mind these are English words I'm trying to use for a different concept, but it's a council of 40 people, and there's 10 per each division, and they make some important decisions, like they have to like approve laws before the king can make them, but like they can't vote negative unless they think it contradicts like the unchangeable laws are called. They're chosen by election, popular election, per division, of course, and they serve 4-year terms, but they can be re-elected infinitely. But the king is the real focus here. The king's the real, like the real guy. So everything else is kind of under him, basically. That's the only thing that people vote for in Ezra Land 2. Now, to pass a law in Ezra Land, it must be written or signed by the Namis and approved by 50% or more of the council. But what I mean by that is that 50%, well, more than 50% need to vote that it contradicts the unchangeable laws. So you can't vote no because you don't agree with it. You have to vote no because you think it contradicts like the Constitution and the unchangeable laws of Ezra Land, which I will talk about. But there are some laws called the unchangeable laws, that can never be changed or removed. They're always in place. And they have their roots in the Bible, pretty much. So, like, no murder, no adultery, no thievery, stealing, no lying, no, like, not lying in general, but lying under oath, um, no disrespect or physical harm towards others. Those are the basic things. Also, some other things are banned, like slavery, um, witchcraft, some other stuff that's seen as illegal. But if you break one of these unchangeable laws, that's like one of the worst things you could possibly do. So it's like you'll probably get like life imprisonment or the unfortunate death penalty. So you do not want to break these laws. Not even the king can break these laws, because if the king breaks these laws, he will be removed from his power through a very complex system, which I cannot describe right now because I haven't even worked it all out myself. But that's pretty interesting. Now, the currency, I'll bring it back up. This is called the belke. It is the currency of Ezra Land. This is worth one belke, which is worth about like $20 to $25. And it's because this is backed by real silver. Like, the coins are made out of real gold or real silver. This one's backed by silver, as you see, it has a silver seal on it, because this one is a pretty low denomination, which would be very hard to pay in gold since gold is so expensive. Now, the back here has this symbol, which you may recognize from my channel's like symbol, and then on the front has the emerald toucanet that I was talking about earlier, just on this one. The other ones have all different designs, different colors. And this is my signature right here, and you can see all this Ezra text on here, which you probably can't read, but what it says is one belke of silver, and then on the back it says the treasury of Ezra Land. So yeah, that's interesting. That's a nice thing I had made. Now, I told you Xoke is the capital, and it houses a few major buildings, such as Inro Ezra, which is the main church in the middle, and it is the church dedicated to Saint Ezra, who is the patron saint of Ezra Land, because I'm also named after him, so it's pretty good. But Hia de Jata is my palace, which is, oh, I forgot, Inro Ezra is also supposed to be like the biggest church in the world. I want it to be, at least, which is probably impossible because I will never get enough money to do that, but yeah. Well, so Hia de Jata then is my palace, as I already said. It's really big and tall and nice, but not as nice as the church, obviously, because that would be kind of bad. So yeah. Then the main council building, known as the court, which is where the council meets mainly in Xoke. So that's pretty good. Like, I like that kind of. Now, there are also local capitals for each division. Bermache is Lohe, Plakna is Arkan, Quene is Male, and Sano is Rajo. Those are the capitals of those divisions. Now, that is all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Even if it sounded kind of dumb, it's something I've really worked on my whole life pretty much. And yeah, so look forward to other videos I make about like Izrak or stuff like that. Goodbye.